Hey, good afternoon, everyone. As Nora said, my name is Dr. Gregory B. Stinson, but I really like to be called Greg. Greg Home, because the conversations that we have surrounding DE&I is already difficult enough without all the titles and the barriers. So if you have a question for me while we're talking, just say, hey, Greg, because Greg Home. I'm excited to be here, especially for our first in-person free food time of discussion. I assure you, 30 minutes. If you just give me 30 minutes of your time, and then maybe a little bit less because I am a little hungry. I didn't eat prior, but 30 minutes of your time just so we can take just a little dive into our second topic of the year. But before we get started, let's do the true north. This is something that I try to do at the start of every conversation, a true north. Being able to stay engaged. I know we're all busy practitioners in our individual spaces. I had to purposely silence my cell phone, turn off my computer, and tell them don't bother me for an hour. Because this journey is important. Important for not just me, important hopefully for you, and important for how you serve the community. Secondly, speak your truth. I would want to hope this is a safe place. I would want to hope it is. I'm going to say some things that probably may stir some of you, and that's okay. I ask that you lean into the discomfort. Lean into the discomfort. No one hopefully will judge you for it. Please don't judge me. And then experience the discomfort, as we said, And then last but not least, I don't have all the answers. My PhD is in organizational leadership. So I don't have all the answers, and also as a black male, I ain't got all the answers. But it's okay to step away and just leave without conclusion. My whole intent here is just to plant the seed so that it can grow in your pot of life. So let's roll on to the next slide. What are we gonna do today? My theme is always shift. If you notice, shift when you're typing, old-fashioned typewriter, when you got ready to shift, you had to hit a period, hit the space bar, hit the capital caps, and start typing. That's what DE&I is about. DE&I is all about. This happened before George Floyd's murder, this conversation. Now, George's murder just ignited some passion, and since then, conversations have been occurring because we finally had a reason to shift, no more. And so, we're going to share who is in the room. We'll play a little exercise. We're also going to hit high-level recap of Q1 for those of you who weren't able to attend, or read the takeaway, or read the newsletter. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. We got many things going out there. And then we're going to ignite the wheel, and I'll talk more about the wheel. We're going to set a foundational understanding of allyship. Our progression before was, what is DE&I? Why is it imperative for the business? This one, looking within, how to be an ally outside. And then last but not least, we're going to tap into a position of greatness. What's your takeaway? What's your call to action? Cool beans? Okay. Next slide, please. Who's in the room? Now, that's my pretty little mug shot. I'm sure that we have some individuals online. Nor, do we have a lot or a little?
We've got like a 5.
5, okay.
Yeah.
So we take the 5 online, plus a few in the room. I'm looking at about maybe 30 seconds, so we can get down to the meat and potatoes of what we're here for. So in 30 seconds, I'm gonna ask each one of you if you feel comfortable sharing. If not, just gently shake your head no. And then I'll skip you. What's your name, your organization, your position or role, and what's your favorite food? Real easy. I'll show you an example.
Chicken.
Yes.
Oh, Nora, you almost made me have an out-of-body experience. Okay. For example, as I said before, Greg's home. My name is Dr. Gregory B. Stinson. I like to be called Greg. My pronouns are he, him, his. My organization, I work for American Family Insurance. Yeah, American Family Insurance. I've been with that organization now for just a little bit over a year. My position, I am currently the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Oversee programs and operations for a 13,500 employee base throughout the entire United States. Luckily, it's not me. I got a team of 10 that are embedded. And my favorite food, it's not chicken, but I do love brisket. I'm a Texan. Blazer, cowboy boots, Ford truck, brisket. So let's start over here. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Xiomara Martinez, and I'm the Business Office Manager for the Women's Clinic for Health Services of North Texas. And my favorite food today is Italian. Today. That's today. It changes.
Hello, my name is Teresita Casprita. I'm the Business Office Manager for DMC Campus location. I've been with the agency for almost 9 years, and my favorite food are tacos.
You're in the right state.
I'm Roxanne Del Rio. I am Dean of Students over at NCTC, and I am the chair of the Serve Denton Board.
I'm Cheryl Aldridge. I serve on the Serve Denton board. And my favorite food is always Italian.
I'm Dorothy Brew with Health Services in North Texas. Happy to see so many of our co-workers here today. And I also serve on the board with Serve Denton, and my favorite food is coffee. Coffee beans.
Well, my name is Parker Sams. I am the communications specialist at Health Services in North Texas. And my favorite food is a well-cooked cheeseburger.
I like the barbecue. I'm Larry Bisno. I'm Director of Strategic Initiatives and Compliance Officer at Health Services in North Texas. My favorite food, I'd have to say, is Middle Eastern street food like falafel.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
I'm Kelsey Moore. I'm the Executive Assistant at Health Services in North Texas, and my favorite food is peaches.
Like the fruit?
The fruit, yeah.
Okay.
Do you like peach cobbler?
Peach cobbler, peach ice cream, go ahead, okay.
An amazing peach jam, just so everybody knows. But yeah.
Well, listen, I'm doing this for free, if you wanna pay me. I'll take peach jam. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
My name is Abby Germer. I'm with Refuge for Women North Texas. I am the executive director there, and I love a really good spicy chicken sandwich.
Okay.
Marty B's has the best one so far.
Okay, good to know.
Put that on the list.
Well, I'm Eddie Renz. I work at iTeach. We certify teachers alternatively. I'm the marketing director there. I'm also on the board here at Serve Denton. I'm newly fast friends with Nora because we both are obsessed with food, so I'm loving all this.
I know.
My favorite food that I could eat every day is chicken fried rice, so I'm constantly on the hunt for the best chicken fried rice. If you have any recommendations, send them my way.
And I'm Debbie Jensen, Executive Director for CASA of Denton County, and I love ice cream.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Adates-Okumbo, and I am with Community Services, Inc. I am a regional manager at CSI, and my favorite food is anything Italian.
Okay.
I know what to order for next.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katia Batista, and I am the Homeless Prevention Program Administrator for Giving Hope. My favorite food is Latin food, specifically rice and beans.
Yes.
Wow.
Hi everyone, my name is Allison Quisenberry. I work for Serve Denton. I am a development associate. And my favorite food is my aunt's homemade refried beans.
Oh, yum.
Hey everyone, my name is Kat Ricardo. I am also with Serve Denton. I am the executive assistant there. And my favorite food is probably sushi.
Oh, sushi's good.
Hi, my name is Lorena Medrano, and I'm with Health Services of North Texas. And my favorite food is, I think, anything my mom makes.
Hello, my name is Veronica Fletcher, and I'm a medical case manager at Health Services of North Texas. And my favorite food is grilled salmon.
Oh,
My name is Ashlyn. I'm a corporate healthcare at Health Services in North Texas. I think my favorite food is macaroni and cheese and hot dogs.
Pat Smith, Serve Denton, I'm the CEO, and favorite food is a really well-made hamburger, cheeseburger.
Okay.
I'm gonna call on those on Zoom.
Please do.
Cece?
Yes, I'm here.
You wanna introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, my name is Cece Price. I work at Health Services of North Texas. I am a medical case manager. I do the nutrition assistance program. And my favorite food, well, it's gonna be wine.
All right, Marnie, how about you?
Hi everyone, I'm Marnie Stone. I work for My Health, My Resources of Tarrant County. I am one of the senior directors for Child and Family Services Division. And my favorite food is whatever food I'm currently eating. As y'all were going around, I was like, yeah. So I currently was eating a roast beef sandwich with cheese and avocado.
Yum. All right, Jamie, how about you?
Hi, I'm Jamie Taylor, Grants Manager with Health Services of North Texas, and my favorite food at the moment is chips and queso.
Ooh, yum. All right, and Karishma.
Hi, my name is Karishma Patel, and I work with Health Services of North Texas as a clinical informatics provider, and my favorite food is just the classic pizza.
Yum. Can I do mine, Gregory?
Of course, Nora.
My name's Nora Douglas. I'm the Chief Program Officer at Serve Denton, and my favorite food is anything Indian and Ethiopian.
Wow. All of you are going to kill my diet if we were to have a potluck. Thank you for sharing online. Thank you for sharing in the room. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for allowing me to peek under the waterline. And we'll talk more about that later. But it feels refreshing to be in a room on a Zoom with a group of servers. You all are serving in some capacity to those who need our assistance. And that's what DEI is all about. Next slide, please. Oh, you're already there. So we already, in case you don't know, just a quick reminder, diversity, defining diversity and inclusion. And I will read because I don't want to miss this. Diversity and inclusion is a representation that encompasses the uniqueness of each individual, from pizza to sushi. It might be something as small as that. It encompasses your race and your gender, your sexual orientation. It encompasses your educational, professional background. It encompasses your social economic status, your age, 51. I'm coming up there, 51. It encompasses your life experiences. It encompasses your abilities, your religious beliefs. It takes in everything without bias. So inclusion is largely the concept of utilizing all these differences for the success of the organization, which I'm sure if I were to walk your businesses, I would see that. And that inclusion with the diversity is your business success. So the next slide, please. But for those of you who like math, I don't like math, okay? Diversity plus inclusion equals connection. So if you take that diversity, all the different characteristics, this smorgasbord of meals that we just talked about with dessert and snacks, queso and wine, and if you need a cup of coffee afterwards, so that's that diversity. And then we include it as we sit at the tables around us. We have connection to where we're all laughing. Just think for a second, if I say leaders or colleagues, that's what I say at work, so bear with me, okay? Think for a second, leaders. If you take the diversity plus the inclusion, then you will have connection. If we were to drill that down a little bit to each one of your individual areas as directors, as managers, as leaders, and we were to have that, I wouldn't say requirement, but if we were to show that first, how that could be magnified within our organization to connect us to the customers that are coming to us for services. That's powerful. Now, I assure you, throughout the whole conversation, I'm really going to be asking and pointing questions because this time is for us to look within. I'll tie it back to your business, but it's always going to come back to you. So the next slide, please. So before we go deeper, we already talked about the diversity wheel. If you read the newsletter, I'm reading eyes, okay. But the diversity wheel is so important because it goes back to us. That's where the conversation starts first. So many times in the news and media is pointing fingers at everybody else. It's your fault. It's your reason that I have not made it to where I'm at right now. it's you, but really I want us to look at us. Some of us may have a different story than others, and that's cool. That's cool. When I unpack my story as we go through this, you'll see that the guy in the slacks and the jeans, you wouldn't believe my upcoming. I should not have made it where I'm at today. But it is because of every white male that I came in contact with. It wasn't black males, it was white males. And they believed in me and they reformed my dimensions. So now, 51 years later, I'm where I'm at. So let's take a little deep dive. Individually, inside, that's us, our identity. Now, not to offend anyone, check out this analogy. The day I was born, there I am. Let it be, Greg. You know, my primary dimension, that around me, was what I could see first. What my parents, what my community, what my not socioeconomic status, but just that around me that taught me you can walk from seeing other people walk. It helped to form my mental and physical abilities. Can you imagine if all my parents were, perfect movie. You remember that movie that won all the Oscars where the parents were deaf, but they were fishers? Fisher people. I want to be politically correct. Fisher, they fish, the fishing industry. The daughter was the only one that can hear from the mom, the dad, the brothers. What if no one around her spoke? She knew sign language. So because of that situation around her, her mental and physical ability could have been affected. But somebody spoke to her. She heard that sound, that vibration. That's us. And then the next dimension are the ethnicity. I am a black male, African American. If you're back in my ages of 80 and 90, that's what we were called now as black males. Cool, I'm Greg. But everyone in my family were black. So that's my ethnicity. Then I learned, you did come from Africa, generations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, my sexual orientation. Now, this can go back and forth. But for Gregory, my sexual orientation is heterosexual male. Period. Now, some people, their sexual orientation is different than their identity that they were born with, and I'm not knocking that. But because of my journey in DEI, I understand and appreciate that difference. So that's that primary dimension. Then that secondary dimension is the external lens. After you step out of the house, you feel the grass, now you're going down the street. You got 2 mailboxes that you can't pass, right? If you grew up like that, don't pass these 2 mailboxes. Well, that formed my secondary dimension, per se. My religion, grew up in a Baptist household. My geographic location, I grew up in the projects of Mississippi. Okay? My appearance, my mama did not play. All right, no matter how poor we were, you did not have holes in your clothes. So that formed my appearance, which still carries forth today. Then my language and accent, I'm a country boy. Yes, I have a PhD. I would talk street in a heartbeat, okay? And that's because my language was formed by my families through the examples that they shared. Next is my organization. My industry is insurance right now. Before that, it was manufacturing, DE&I. Before that, it was retail, DE&I. Before that, it was mental health hospital, DE&I. So I've been all over, okay? Let's keep rolling. Rolling in the company. All these things, these are the dimensions that form around us that help to shape us into who we are. And then the last but not least are cultural. Now, culture gets kind of sticky depending on where you go and depending on how you see the world. Your power and authority. How many men are dominant? Men's playing, right? That power and authority. Not me, I was raised by a single mom and 4 aunties. Not one male was around me my entire life until I joined the military. So I understand both sides. That's the power and authority, being collaborative like that. Conflict resolution, I'm a middle child. So I'm a little bit not as, I'm a piece them all together kind of guy. Do I love to work in a team? Because I'm a middle child. So these are all the dimensions that circle around us. And if you were to take a journey through your life course, you can identify yourself and why you're the way you are within these dimensions. Or, I propose to say to you, what shaped you to change? You could have been one before, but you shifted. That's the diversity within us. So the next slide, please. So I'm gonna ask, it's time to share it. I'm getting dry mouth, I need to drink some water. Think about the primary, secondary, or any other dimension that has been most influential to you to help shape you to where you are. as you do this, and hopefully you're comfortable to share, think about whether this dimension is obvious or visible to others. So can you go back one? Who would like to jump on this wagon first?
I could go.
Thank you, ma'am.
I guess for my personal experience, coming from immigrant parents, doing the type of work that we do, I think it just shaped me, helped me understand our patients are coming in, don't speak English, are scared, being able to help them understand them. I think that helped me with that journey.
Yeah, thank you for that. For what I'm hearing is coming up and understanding your parents' way helped to form who you are today,
Right.
to where you understand and connect with others and help remove barriers and blocks for them.
Right.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah.
That's paraphrasing like a Momo. Okay, thank you. Who else would like to contribute? Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to echo what you said earlier. For me, it's like, because I know where they're coming from as far as being an immigrant family, I can be their voice.
Yeah.
Because at times I feel like my parents, they were not able to voice their opinion. So when I see clients coming in that I kind of like, it takes me back to scenarios where my parents were struggling, I can be their voice and I can identify their barriers.
Yeah, and that's amazing, and thank you for that, being their voice, understanding again the parents, the parental coverage over you, being that voice today. That's amazing how each one of these dimensions form around us from birth, and they continue to form, and they continue to build, and they radiate outwardly, you know, which pulls others to us or pushes them away, depending on the dimension. I'll give you a prime example. As I said before, I was raised by a single mom, 3 boys. Daddy, I don't even know him. So I watched my mom go through life experiences. I watched her work 2 or 3 jobs because no one would give her a chance in Mississippi. All right? So all my aunts were single too. That was just part of the culture back then, single parents. So as an adult now, who somebody has a sense of humor because I have 3 grown daughters and 3 granddaughters, but that's okay. I have an understanding. Now, empathy versus sympathy, I can relate, but I'm not walking in those footsteps. But I can understand the battles of the woman professional. And so I come in and try to help as much as I can. I also understand, because of my dimensions, the Black culture. Maybe the mentality that, woe is to me, the white man held me down. I say that lightly, please don't, okay, can we go there for a second?
Yeah,
okay.
go for it.
Because I don't feel that way. As I said before, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now today if there wasn't white males coming beside me, guiding me. Because my dimensions didn't show me where I'm at today. And so I can come in and speak to that population and say, hold tight with what you got for a second. Let's talk about this. So thank you for sharing that. Your dimensions are very important as we go down this diversity journey. Oh, Nora, yes ma'am, I'm sorry. I got to move, I can't see you
No, it's
behind me.
fine.
Okay.
Well, something you said earlier struck home for me. You said that sometimes it can switch, or what becomes important can change. And so when I thought about this question, like what helped form who I am, I usually don't consider being female something that's very important in who I am now. But in this particular political climate, all of a sudden, it's like, wow, this is something that I should have cared about for a really long time, that I really didn't think much about. Like, what did it mean to be a female trying to work and being a female in graduate school? Like, it never really occurred to me, but all of a sudden, it's become very important to me. So I think that's interesting that it can shift over time.
And look, and I think that's a perfect example, Nora. Laura. It's just funny when we both call each other doctors all the time, Nora. That's part of the journey. As we grew up, I said earlier, we form our dimensions. If any of you have comments, feel free. We form our dimensions. And for it to get down to the root of where we're going to invoke change means they had to pass through so many of our other dimensions, and you're finally saying enough is enough. I guarantee if we were to have time in another class to unpack what's affect our dimensions, which could affect our DEI acceptance and journey, that would be very interesting. But Let's roll to the next 2 slides, 1, 2. But I thank each one of you for peeling back and allowing us to peek under the waterline. Under the waterline. I said it earlier as an example when we talked about our food. Above the waterline, the diversity iceberg. What's above the waterline and what's below the waterline. If I hadn't told you about my upbringing, would you have any idea? Maybe my slang, because I do use a lot of slang, okay? But any idea? But I wanted to allow you to peek under my waterline just so much because I feel comfortable sharing that. We come into work every day. We go into the grocery store, Starbucks, whatever it is, our churches, whatever it is, and we only show so much above the waterline. I learned something about a new friend today, and he openly shared with me. He allowed me to peek under the waterline, and that's the connection that we need. So above the waterline is what we show every day. I'm a 6'3" black male. You see that. You know, maybe black. I could be of a different ethnicity, you know, that I call myself, just a hell of a suntan. But that's above the waterline. Above the waterline is our language and accents. Above the waterline are things that people see every day, our appearance. But below the waterline is where the DEI journey starts. Below the waterline where you're wondering about a person's race or ethnicity. Is he Hispanic? Is he Latino? Is he Puerto Rican? Is he Asian? I say he to not offend anyone. Those are the things that are below the waterline that our employees, our team members won't tell us until they feel comfortable. Why? Because they're probably coding, shifting, several terms. We'll talk more about that later. Our sexual orientation. I quickly come out and say he, him, his. That's an undercover line I learned. That lets anybody else in the room know that I'm not judging you. Stop looking at me, man.
He's fascinating.
little signs that says, come be yourself, be true to yourself. My values and beliefs. Now, that's the last thing that I don't let out. In this polarized community, if people knew what I really thought, I might have to move out of Denton. And there's nothing crazy, team, trust me. I'll let you guys peek under it for a second. You ready? 20 years, 9 months, 10 days in the Army. I fought for 20 years for the freedom that all of you have. Gave my life, missed so many birthdays, lost the first marriage, went to foreign countries, ate crazy food for the great American flag. My values and beliefs says, why are we fighting? If you really want to see fighting, go to Iraq.
Amen.
But I don't say that out loud because I don't want any barriers that I'm not able to receive what you have to tell me. So above and below the waterline. I think you guys get the gist of it, right? Let's play a game. All lines, we're gonna play a game. Next slide, please. So when you think about the workplace, no names, please, protect the innocent. Above the waterline and below the waterline, how can we encourage a culture of inclusion where we don't feel the need to cover and keep the water so close? How can we encourage that? What's above the waterline that you show, and what's something you may feel comfortable that's below the waterline to share? Can you go back one slide, Dr. Nora?
It's
Rachel.
tough because
Oh,
sometimes
okay.
when people share something that's under the waterline, like in a staff meeting or something, everyone goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you feel that, is that appropriate?
Yeah. I don't blame you. It's some hard times right now. It is hard. You can get whacked, terminated in the business world. Whacked, what we call it in the business world, for saying the wrong thing. And you have to defend yourself. I don't blame you, it's hard. But as a leader, you kind of need to set the stage and say it's okay. Rachel, I'm sorry, I knew you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, I did. No, I really didn't, but I'll answer. I would say for below the waterline, at least for me, I find that sometimes sharing past experiences has tend to be intimidating for some. So it could be perceived, I guess, as not sharing as everyone else might want to, that, okay, you're better than, you think you're better than everyone else. When actuality I'm guarding against the reaction of, well, if I really tell you my experiences, then you're really gonna think that you know? So it's like a dichotomy. I'm like, if I say something, they're gonna be upset if I don't say something, and then having that tug of war, and sometimes finding myself being more open to people who aren't in my work environment, who aren't in my workspace, and sharing, because I know it will be received well. Of course, saying anything above the waterline is, of course, easy, no problem doing that. But definitely one thing that resonates with me is experiences growing up, of course, with migrant parents, originally from Nigeria, and sharing some of the experience we shared. I was born in DC, but sharing some of that, raised in Nigeria, and then coming back up here, and what our family had to go through, and then education, some of those, you know, family legacies, perspective on work ethic, it's so much different. So just trying to observe my environment, especially my work environment, so I'm not offensive to anyone by anything that I say, but it's just wanting to share, you know, this is how we're different, but then we're all, you know, we have some similar experiences. So I can resonate well with
And thank you for that, Rachel. That you stated so many things that I wish we had time to unpack. So many things that, as a going to paraphrase for the people online, okay? As a Black or African American or African, I don't want to accidentally label you.
It's funny to say.
Okay, African woman, as a Black African woman, covering so deeply to not offend somebody else. That's some scary stuff. Covering so deeply. We protect that waterline for fear of offending someone, saying the wrong thing, looking the wrong way. I can go down a laundry list of stuff that has been publicized on the social media platform and the news platform that will make anyone scared. Don't know about you, but I have a wife, 3 daughters, 3 granddaughters, grown and gone, praise God, don't come home, but I still try to financially support them. I can't lose my salary for saying the wrong thing. Look, I know what you feel. I know what you feel. So who's gonna be courageous to take the first step? I know that no matter what happens to me, if something bad were to happen to me when I uncover something, and someone comes after me through either legal or work, I have a plethora of folks that I've been professional about that hopefully will be my ally and speak up in my behalf. We'll talk about that later. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Next slide, please. I think it's 2 slides because I'm looking at the time at the same problem. So above and below the waterline, and we talked about covering. Rachel shared some things about covering. Debbie said some things about covering. I'm sure online, we need name tags next time. Online, I'm sure they may be agreeing with head nods, virtual head nods. The covering. Did you know that 94%, I had to get some data for any of you numbers people out here, okay? 94% of Blacks cover. That means they don't let the waterline go too far down. Now this data may be a little 2013. I'll find something relevant more closer next time, but this is in the ballpark. They cover. 91% of women of color cover. Just shared. 91% of the LGBTQIA community, I have to slow down, no disrespect, just make sure I get it right, cover. They can't talk about who they love. Regardless of how you feel about religion and sexual orientation and all this stuff, they can't come in and say, my fill in the blank just bought me flowers. The way I do. My boo just bought me a new set of golf clubs. Boo is my wife. You know, just bought me a new set of golf clubs for Father's Day. I'm gonna say it loud and proud. 80% of women cover. I can't come to work today. My kid's really sick. Or I'm upset with my spouse today. I'm not focused. I need a mental day right now because they left the coffee cup in the sink. That's what I do wrong. And did you know this last number is growing? Where right now 50% of white males cover. Because they're scared or reluctant. Look at what the media is doing, team. I'm not bashing the media, trust me. We all need media. But so there's so much covering of appearance, of affiliations, of who you support and don't support, of your association. Next slide, please. So, in case you don't know, appearance-based covering is how an individual alters their self-presentation. I am so happy to see that so many of our Black African-American women are coming back to their natural hairstyles in the business world. No more covering. I am so glad to see that my biracial daughters, my wife's a little 5'2" Italian, so when you said Italian food, I'm like, oh yeah, you know. Finally get to step into their true identity without having to pick which race to affiliate with. One of them has straight hair, one of them needs a whole lot of hair care products, but they get to be themselves. Your affiliation-based covering concerns how individuals avoid behaviors widely associated with their identities. I struggle with this team. Going to South Dallas, hanging around there, bumping into some of the brothers down there, because I'm different. And I don't tell people I struggle. But I'm gonna say it now to you. I'm gonna say it to you. Advocacy based. I shared earlier, I'm a strong proponent of women leaders, upcoming leaders. Sometimes I may not say that around some men, especially if they start to say some of those telltale signs that I used to hear as I walked the halls with my mom in school as a young male, catcalling, and inappropriate comments that I know now is wrong. Back then, I didn't know. I thought my mom was cool. You know what I'm saying? So I avoid that behavior. And last but not least, association-based. Who cares about your political party? Who cares if you like guns or not? But no one's going to say that because of the polarization in our country today. So these are the reasons people cover. And I'm hurrying, don't look at your watch, I'm hurrying. These are the reasons that we cover, you know? But I'm proposing now that we start to uncover as we get more comfortable. Because the moment we as leaders start to uncover, our people are going to uncover. And that uncovering is going to drive our business results. Next slide, please. I wanted to get some data up here. You know, I wanted to understand more about Serve Denton and its partners. I wanted to understand more about the community. Don't know if you see this, but in the Denton, this is based on the most recent census report, about as more recent as I can get. It talks about 58% of the Denton community are white, identify as white. You let me know if anything in here is like, oh, I didn't know that, please. 10% is Black, 19% Hispanic. Which one of these barriers fall into our category that we provide services to? You don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
All of them.
All of them. So how do they cover when they come in, I wonder? Don't have to answer that, it's just throwing that out there. And how can we get them to uncover so we can fully get to the root of why they're here for us? Next one, educational level. I was blown away by this one, where 31% have bachelor's degrees within Denton County. Now I was told to call out my reason for being blown away, and I'll say it. I thought with the educational institutions that we have around here, it would be higher. I thought it would be higher. So that means 31% have bachelor's degrees, BAs. Are they coming in for our services? Do we know? If they are, how much unpacked potential are they not tapping into? What caused them to cover so deeply that it may have put them in the situation to where they're coming for us? This is just some of the stuff I think about at night. Okay, next slide, please. Some more data. Poverty. What does that say, Nora?
7.4% persons below poverty line.
7.4% are below the poverty line. That's a pretty small number.
Countywide.
Countywide.
Varies greatly by city. Denton's 21%.
Yeah.
Good gracious. So with these numbers, countywide, Denton's higher. What's the covering? Every time I come in your parking lot, I see some form of vehicle turning this corner. I see the sign. I can assume, don't like to use the word assume, we know what that means. But it makes me proud to pull in the parking lot to know that someone is standing on the front lines providing services to those that need it. Remember, I'm military. Someone saying, you may be wasting my time today, but I'm gonna give you this information and you're gonna know where to come when you need help. So no, it's cool, cause I got less than 10 minutes. So think about the data you just reviewed. What other demographics? If the census were really drilled down to Denton or Denton County, would you like to see that could possibly identify who may be covered? Did that question come out right?
Yeah, like, do any of you gather data on like LGBTQ status, or I'm trying to think of some of the ones we're talking about for demographics for the Denton survey, or like, I mean, we know like housing status, because a lot of the services we're providing are to help create.
Well, you want to
housing.
let's talk about covering for homelessness.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
How many families right now are living in the Walmart parking lot?
Yeah.
Which has gone up about 500% in the last 3 months. But they're covering, or the number of families who are on free and reduced lunches living out east in town. And now there's a major war on housing in Denton County because of Section 8 renters and developments who are covering, because they walk in the house, nice house on the outside, air mattresses.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's covering.
That's covering. And it really won't resonate, team. I propose, I just throw this out there, it won't resonate. What, you gotta go?
No.
She's looking at the clock. You gotta go, raise your hand up and walk, okay? I will propose that it's gonna raise to a level where somebody's gonna do something, where the city's gonna give a grant or something. And once it starts to penetrate their dimensions, we see what matters to us. Right now, it's not such a big deal to some people. But when it becomes a big deal, they're gonna open the floodgates, they're gonna give the resources, and you are gonna play catch up. You're gonna play catch up.
Gregory's, Marnie also added disability status.
This
is one that could be, that our clients could be covered when they come in.
yeah. And disability is something that a lot of people cover. I don't know why, I can assume, but I look for those signs that they may have one until they feel comfortable telling me, so I can either learn to slow my speech down, learn to talk louder if it's hearing, learn to make sure the podium's lower if they have a height disability like my wife. I make sure she has a low podium. If they need assistance, seating assistance or something like that, because a lot of people, because regretfully our society for so long has pushed them to the side. Well, we have to make a law for them. That's, okay, you got me started. Anyway, next slide, please. So we talked about all this stuff. What does it mean in order to help them uncover? It means being an ally to them. Helping them to feel comfortable sharing themselves. An ally is a person who wants to fight for the equality. An ally is a person who wants to stand up for the marginalized community, which is what each one of you are doing here. Next slide, please. So as we look at allyship, why do allies matter? They matter because it helps to create more numerous, diverse perspectives, which starts innovation. They help to give more access to those who just need a helping hand. I told you, white males. I was an Army musician. Don't laugh, okay? You're laughing back there. Okay, so yes, tuba player, high school, joined the Army, played music. All the musicians in the Army were all from the major universities. So they were really good musicians. How did I make it? Mom wouldn't let me go out and play. So all I did was practice. Couldn't play football, couldn't play basketball. We couldn't afford it if I got hurt. Music opened the door. So when I joined the Army, I'm surrounded by white males who don't look like me. Now, I had some white females. That's how I met my wife, and we got married. She was a flute player, so go ahead and crack jokes on the wife. But these white males kept saying, I believe in you. I'm gonna fight for you. Stop drinking, Private, because I used to tear it up back in the day. Stop going to the club late at night. So these white males were my allies, and they pushed me, which gave me more credibility to believe in myself. An ally. Next slide, please. So what motivates an ally? They are fighting for equality, they're fighting for fairness, they're fighting for civil rights, they're fighting for social justice. They can be a friend, they can be a family member that has ignited the fire in them to want to be an ally. Next slide. So, Pat Haddon, I call him Pat because I'm not calling him Sir Patrick. People won't listen to you or take you seriously unless you are an old white man. Not knocking the white males. I love them. I love everybody. Platonically, I love everybody. But right now, the dominant ethnicity, race, is the white males. And they have to speak up and say enough. They have to be that ally and be willing to take that sword. Because somebody's probably gonna push them to the curb after it. Kick them to the side, push them to the curb. But if you notice, more and more are standing up. Now, my problem at hand now is the ones who are standing up are not speaking out loudly enough because people are putting them down because they're white males. I'm encouraging them to stand. I'll stand with you and be an ally. So last slide, please. So, our conversation today, very short. I wish I had more time, Dr. Nora, but we're gonna keep this journey going. Q1, we talked about the business. Q2, we talked about this diversity wheel. We talked about allies. We talked about the iceberg. Q3, we're gonna go back a little bit deeper and we're gonna talk about unconscious bias. And I'm excited because one of my colleagues, he works for me, lives here in Dallas, and he has agreed, if I can't get this other gentleman to speak, to come in and speak about unconscious bias. And I love Larry. I love Larry. I trust Larry. Larry and his husband live over there on the other side of Dallas. Larry is my unicorn. And I want to bring Larry in to talk about unconscious bias, because when you meet Larry, you will not know Larry's story until he opens up and says, my husband and I think Surf Denton is ready for a little shocky shock deal. And then of course, we're gonna get you a calendar out to talk about the multicultural events coming up. And we're just gonna keep this journey going. I really enjoy it. So the last slide.
Oh, you wanna show the video, Gregory?
If we can?
Yeah.
Because you know me, I can't leave without a little tug at the heart deal. All right.
This can bring everyone in and lift everyone up. This can give new voices a way to be heard and new ideas a place to thrive. This can take what each of us does best and give it incredible power. This can erase the limits we see and the labels we feel. This can grow new leaders and endless opportunities. This can make us even more confident, more capable, and more committed. This can create wonders and huge rewards. This is a culture of equality. We call the ones who light the way the culture makers. And to make this a reality, it has to be a priority. For leaders, for all of us.
Thank you, Nora. But in closing, as you see, thank you. That's all right. All right. So in closing, I thank you all for being present with me. I thank you for leaning into maybe some discomfort or just leaning in just to listen.
Oh my God. I don't understand technology.
I got you. And please continue this journey with me. As I said before, Greg home, and I just want to hold a conversation with you. I think Nora's going to give you a free gift if you take this survey.
Well, you may win a $50 Visa gift card at the end of the year. As many events as you attend, you submit a survey. It's like putting your name in the raffle jar multiple times.
Oh, I'm down.
Please take the survey. We'd really love your feedback about what we're doing here, what we could do better, what we are doing well that you really like and want to make sure to keep. So please take the survey. I will send out an email after this with the link to the survey. I'll also send out the slides. For those of you on Zoom, I'll make sure you have the link to the video. My share screen didn't work, so they didn't see the video. I'll make sure I share the link to the video, and then thank you, Eddie, for recording.
Eddie.
And when we get that link, I'll also share that out for you. So if you want to share it with any of your other staff that weren't able to be here today, that they have the chance to get to watch this as well.
And thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr.
Gregory.
For putting yourself out there.
And I think there's maybe more food, so feel free to fill up more
Free
plates.
food. Free food.
Stop the
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.